This is the tale of Shravan Kumar. An elderly blind couple had longed to have a child, and after years of praying, their wish was granted in the form of a devoted and dutiful son whom they named Shravan Kumar. He fulfilled his parents' every wish and catered to all their needs. One day, his parents told him about their desire to go on a pilgrimage. To honor their wish, Shravan Kumar made a balance scale with baskets on either ends of the pole for his parents to sit in, while he carried the pole on his shoulder and walked from one shrine to the other. On their journey, while passing through a forest, Shravan Kumar went to fetch water from the river to quench their thirst. It just so happened that on the same day, the king of Ayodhya, King Dasharath, was hunting in the same forest. Upon hearing a sound, the king mistook it for that of a deer drinking water and shot his arrow exactly in the direction of the sound. The arrow pierced Shravan Kumar's chest, and he cried out and fell to the ground. The king rushed to where his arrow had gone and realized his mistake. As Shravan Kumar was taking his final breath, he told the king about his elderly parents who were waiting for him to bring them water. The king, filled with remorse, took water and the bad news of their son's demise to the elderly couple. Heartbroken and filled with pain and grief, they cursed King Dashrath for killing their son.
The story you just heard was our first introduction to the concept of caregiving in the Indian culture. It was a bedtime story that a lot of parents told their kids to instill good values that no matter what, stand by your parents and always help them, take care of them, etc., even when they're old and even if they come to a position of disability. While that was a moral lesson, there is so much more we need to understand about the experience of caregiving. Why is this a relevant conversation? Because at some point in our lives, we are all going to experience being a caregiver. Hi, my name is Srishti Asthana Bisht. I'm a practicing psychologist, I'm a mental health advocate, and I make no frill content on mental health and related issues. Welcome to my channel. Why did I say that at some point all of us will have to be a caregiver? For example, a mother taking care of a newborn child is also the role of caregiving. Even fathers engaging into the care of the infant, that is still caregiving. Let's say if at some point some family member of yours goes through any health scare, any health condition, any chronic illness, you by default step in to help them out, and that is caregiving. And that is why this is such an essential conversation, because in the mental health related conversations many times caregiving is left out as an important subject. Let's understand the impacts of caregiving. Someone in a caregiving position, especially informal caregiving, right? So first let's get into the two major categories. One is formal caregiving, so when someone is in the profession of caregiving, so for example a nurse, a healthcare provider, um, or anyone who specializes into the care of a chronically ill patient. They might not be a nurse, but they're trained into patient care, patient wellness, etc. These are the whole big category of people responsible for the well-being of another, right? So those are all caregiving professions. And even to some degree, if we look at it, a nanny, right, a nanny who is taking care of a infant or a young child, they're also in a caregiving profession in a way. But when we speak of medical caregiving, specifically, there is a lot of intensity that goes into it. Okay, so there are a lot of research and studies that are being done to understand the mental health of nurses or hospital staff, etc. And definitely a lot of burnout is reported. Okay, so that is the formal caregiving. That is when they have received the education, training, the qualification, and they're compensated financially for the services that they provide, the service of care to another human being. Okay, informal caregiving is when you love someone, okay, and now you're stepping in to help them out through a difficult period of their life, through a healthcare challenge, through, through some point of time in their life wherein they are vulnerable health wise, or maybe emotionally and mentally as well. Okay, so when you are an informal caregiver, there are many things that are not addressed and acknowledged, especially being in the Asian community, being Indians, right? Where it is super glorified. The act of caregiving, it's glorified to a whole new degree that if you're a caregiver and if you're doing it consistently, you're Shravan Kumar, you're this great, perfect, idealistic person who has attained some different level of enlightenment that you're caring for someone, etc., etc. But that narrative can be pretty damaging to the caregiver, because if you put them on a pedestal, how are you really helping them? Everyone likes to be praised once or twice. But the third, fourth, fifth time, when all you have to offer to them is, oh, you're so great, that is not helpful at all. And at some point, either we are going to be in a caregiving condition or someone we love very much is going to be in a caregiving position. So it is important to be aware of this phenomena, right? So when you are an informal caregiver, you are responsible emotionally, mentally, physically, psychologically for the welfare of a loved one. Okay? For example, after a certain age, okay, when the parents are very old, and let's say if someone's elderly parents, they are showing signs of dementia and they get diagnosed with dementia, when there are symptoms of forgetfulness, of not being able to take care of themselves, of not being able to take their bath, of if they are at risk for falling, because that is a very major risk with the elderly population, especially if they have dementia, they might fall. And if they do fall, it will have a major health implication, because the body can't recover as quickly as a young person's body would. So in dementia, there is need for someone to comb your hair, someone to bathe you, someone to feed you. And in the very advanced stages, you probably need the intervention of someone who is trained in dementia care as well. So when you're responsible for an adult to care for them as though they're a child, it is bound to take a toll on the health of a caregiver. Okay? And it's bound to take a toll on the health and the mental health of anyone, even if dementia is not in the picture. We are thinking of any severe and chronic mental illness, if we are thinking of any severe and chronic health related illness, caregiving is a very intense and consuming experience. An average caregiver is 50 times more at risk for developing clinical depression or clinical anxiety. So that's why this conversation is very, very important. Moving past the whole glorification and idealization to realistic, tangible resource building for the caregivers community. Okay, so that's what we're going to do on this channel. This is just the first introductory video to the concept of caregiving. And I will be bringing forth people who have actively engaged into the act of caregiving for a loved one, and we'll listen to their stories and we'll try to learn from those stories. We'll also try to build some resources so that in the increasing times of loneliness, when the joint family systems are no longer there, where community support has reduced, people can still have access to certain resources that are helpful. Okay? If you found this video insightful and helpful, subscribe to this channel and do like this video. If you know anyone who's in the position of caregiving, you can send this video to them. And I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much.